Hey, East Central Florida, it's Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Allison Gargaro. We're actually behind the scenes in the Fox 35 Storm Center. We're going to be bringing you an update on Fred, what you can expect right now, today, and as we head into your weekend, and what that means for you here in East Central Florida. So thanks for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, as well as on our website. This is something that we're going to try to continue to update for you guys so that you can get the live information on what we are seeing in the tropics. But all eyes do remain on Fred. You've probably heard us talking about it for the past week, and we're actually seeing it rather disorganized. There we go. Okay, sorry, wanted to get the video on there, but this is our visible satellite. So what you're seeing is clouds, and there's a circular movement. That's where we are seeing Fred. It's in the, oh, you can hear some thunder right above us right now in the Fox 35 studios, but the Fred is very disorganized at the moment. It moved over Hispaniola last night and early this morning. There's very mountainous terrain, and actually a lot of dry air got scooped into the middle. That's why we're not seeing a ton of circulation, but I want to mention it is moving now just to the south of the Bahamas and to the east of Cuba. So no land interaction at the moment. So we're starting to see some convection on the east side of the storm, and that's where we could potentially be seeing some strengthening. Now it's going to be very, very slow. I'm going to show you actually the modeling of what the National Hurricane Center is looking at. But as it moves over warmer water, that's something that we could be seeing. Again, this is live imagery from satellite as we take a look at Fred as it moves just to the east of Cuba there. Yeah. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Gardner is also here with us. This is a very relaxed setting. We just want to let you guys know exactly what's going on. So you can see where that center of circulation is spinning. Brooks is showing you right there with the mouse of exactly what we are seeing. And again, rather weak and disorganized at the moment, but it's nothing but warm waters ahead as the system does make its way. Saturday at 7:30 in the morning. The GFS has it moving toward, if not near, the Florida Keys. But the Euro actually wants it moving a little bit more toward Miami. Then you can see the Euro has it moving a lot faster and moving directly across the peninsula, while the GFS model is still going to have it moving parallel with the western shoreline of the peninsula. Then you can see they are both in agreement that they are going to be moving up toward the north and to the west. Again, GFS a little bit slower on that strengthening, and you can see the Panama City would be in the exact track of this. So just something interesting that we are seeing. Either way, Brooks and I are saying, hey, we're still going to be getting some moisture from this system. The pinks and purple on your screen is that tropical moisture just surging up from the south. So it does look like we are going to have a rather wet weekend. Does seem that we are in agreement on the more west you go, the higher chance of rain. So it does look like rain total as of right now on the west side of the peninsula, 3 to 5 inches in total over the weekend, and the further east you go, it's going to be more like 1 to 3. So you're probably saying to yourself, hey, this is very similar story to what we were seeing with Elsa, and that's very true. Elsa was so far away from the west side of the peninsula that us here in East Central Florida did not see a lot. Yes, we were covering some tornado warnings, mainly in North Central Florida, because landfall was just to the north of Cedar Key. But this is something that we're watching. Is it going to be similar to Elsa, where we don't really see much, or is it going to be bringing a surge of that moisture? But what Brooks and I were seeing on some of the computer models is that we could be seeing some of those outer rain bands that do bring heavy rain, gusty winds, as well as the threat for some isolated tornadoes. So that's what we're going to be going with right now. We want to make sure that everybody is staying weather aware, and that would be worst case scenario because we are on the east side of the storm. But I did talk about those warm waters, and take a look at that. 87 degrees near the Keys, and it's probably a bit warmer because we are seeing some darker colors, which do show some higher temperatures. So like we mentioned, the track, I'm going to see if I can actually use a pen here, of Fred would be going right on up in here, which means no land interaction and some pretty warm water. So that's kind of what we're watching. Some of the models are showing very slow strengthening. I mean, it will stay a depression for at least the next day, if not day and a half. And then once it moves into the Gulf, according to the National Hurricane Center, where it would be strengthening back into a tropical storm. So tropical depression, Fred. What is your Florida threat? Well, it looks like it's going to be arriving in Florida on Saturday and then moving right on up. What we are looking like most likely going to be moving parallel with the peninsula. So we could be seeing lots of rain with the potential for those isolated spin ups. And again, they're going to be isolated in nature, but we just want to make sure that everybody is staying weather aware. And then breezy to windy conditions. Now, currently, Fred has sustained winds inside at 35 miles per hour. So we're looking like breezy to windy conditions. Could be seeing those gusts ranging anywhere from 15 to about 25. And before I go on, I do want to mention, if you have any questions, make sure to share them with us on Facebook. I can actually at the end go through and answer any of those questions. So I'm going to try to monitor, but I just want to let you know if you do have any questions for me, leave those in the comments section. It's something that I will go through at the end. But not only are we tracking Fred, so hey, all eyes are on tropical now depression Fred, but we have another system that is just behind it, a low pressure system and tropical wave right there, that red X on your screen. This is something that started with only a 30% chance for development, 50, 60. Now there's a 70% chance for development over the next 5 days. And that does mean that we could be seeing our next named storm. Right now, it's just 70, but it is in the red. That means there is a high chance for the potential development. And all of our forecast models are pretty much in agreement that it's going to be moving toward the north and west. And that looks like a very similar track to what Fred had. So this is something that we will be watching. Again, right now, the threat is Fred for us here in Florida, but this is something that could be riding on its tail. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows that we are still watching what is out across the tropical Atlantic. But let's get to hurricane season peak. So pretty much the lid has been blown off, and we've been seeing a ton of more tropical development over the last week. And we're going to be seeing even more tropical development as we head into the next several days. So the peak of hurricane season, as you can see at the top, red portion of your screen, September 10th. That's usually when we see the most action and the highest chance for development. And we are right where that red X is pointing at. So we're getting closer and closer. Again, still more than just about a month, actually. What day is it? The 12th now. So we still have a lot more chance for some storms to develop. So we want to make sure that everybody is staying weather aware. And making sure that you do have your hurricane plan in place, whether it's Fred that's going to be impacting us or another storm. We just want to make sure that you and your family are staying safe and that you can depend on us right here in the Fox 35 Storm Center to bring you the latest updates. We do care about each and every one of you, and we want to make sure that everybody is staying safe throughout the remainder of your hurricane season. So we have Fred. What's next? Well, if that system that we showed, that was Invest 95L, were to become a named storm, that would be Grace. So that is next on our list, something that we're watching if it were to be named, if not the next storm. But we have that whole list going through here. Henry, Ida, Julian, Kate, if we get that far, but Grace would be that next storm. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. And this is the time where I'm actually going to go through and read any comments, questions that you guys have. Okay, let me just go to the top. Said, can it come? Okay, Melbourne. Well, Melbourne would be on the far, far east side of this storm. This is from, let me scroll up, Taylor Garrity. Thank you so much for joining us, Taylor. And will it hit Melbourne? Well, Melbourne would be the furthest east spot of the peninsula if this storm were to be on the west side. So I would say that there's the potential for some maybe 15, 20 mile per hour winds. We could be seeing some isolated stronger storms moving through. But as of right now, it looks like a lot of those are going to be centered on the west and east central portion of the state. But make sure that you are staying with us on Fox 35 as we do continue to track Fred as it gets closer, because depending on where it falls, it could be a little bit further east. And that means that you could be seeing a higher chance to see some of that rain. Will Lakeland see anything? Well, Patty, thank you so much for joining us. And we are going to be tracking the potential for, like I mentioned, some isolated outer rain bands, especially as Fred is 2 hours south. That could be bringing some heavy rain. So Lakeland, I would say yes, could be seeing that as we move throughout the day on Saturday and into your Sunday as this system does move right on up the state. And we have, oh, everything's out of order now. Give me 1 second here. In Summerfield, hello, Helen. Thank you for joining us. Will there be anything there? Well, kind of similar to what I've been saying is that, like I mentioned, and we showed in those graphics, the model's still in disagreement. Now, the GFS and a lot of the models are thinking that it will be moving parallel with the west side of the peninsula. With that being said, that's where most of the rain and the gustiest winds would be. But our European model, who we use a lot as well, say that it wants to actually move up and go and cut across the state a little bit more. So that would mean that some of our east central counties would be seeing a bit heavier rain. But I want to talk about the potential for some, thank you, Patty, for joining us. We really appreciate you. The potential for any isolated tornadoes. And I know someone mentioned in the comments, tornadoes are scary, and yes, they are. And that's something that we pride ourselves in, that we are here, we are watching the radar, we are making sure that if there is a tornado that we would be covering it live for you. Now, they're going to be isolated in nature in this storm because, like I mentioned, we started off this video with Fred is pretty disorganized at the moment. Now, we are going to see some strengthening as it moves over the warmer waters, but if it were to be at this strength right now, it's pretty weak and we would just be seeing some isolated thunderstorms. But tornadoes are always a risk, and I want you to download the Fox 35 Storm Team Weather app. I'm telling you, it is the best app out there. If there is any severe weather in your area, whether that be a severe thunderstorm warning, just a weather advisory that the National Weather Service is saying, hey, we're watching this storm, you will get that alert sent directly to your cell phone. And it's great. You can also track Fred. It has the hurricane track. You can pop it right on your screen and it will show you where Fred is in comparison to where you are, in comparison to where any of the strong storms are. So it is a great tool, and we want to make sure that everybody is using it. And again, it is free. Just go to your app store, whether that's Google Play and or the Apple App Store. You can download it and it will show you your rain chances, temperatures, if there's any severe weather, as well as tropics. I mean, it's got all of it. So it is so great. Want to just make sure that everybody has that downloaded before Fred does come our way. So this is all as of our 2 p.m. update. So we will make sure to update the latest track for Fred on our social media sites as well as our website at 5 o'clock. That's when the next update will come out. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And always remember, you can depend on the Fox 35 Storm Team. Bye for now, and have a great rest of your afternoon.